Hello and welcome to this live channel, live painting session. Just give me a few minutes. Let me fix a few things. Okay. So yeah, there were some setting issues. Okay. So if you had a chance to look at the video in which I painted this is the value study based on this sketch, and we'll be painting a colored painting based on the same thing. So if you were not able to join yesterday's video live session, then this was the sketch, this was the value study, and this was the painting which we did. So let's get started with let me fix the camera properly so that you can see the palette as well as, yeah. So I just the let me fix the, okay. So now the video should not blur out or get overexposed. Now let's start by making the border first. And this is the, oops, I have some color on my fingers. Okay, let's not worry too much about this. Let's try to lift some of it. And anyway, we are painting with gouache, so this will not be a problem in the final version. Let's live with that. Okay, so now let me draw the make the drawing basically. So this is the horizon line or the base of the mountain, and this is a bunch of trees here, and there is a road which goes like this. Actually, I had drawn a road here, but then when I did the value sketch, I decided not to have the road, or there was no space here because it's so tiny. Let me draw the road here, and let's see if it remains a road or not, or we need to make some changes. So here I had painted this block of trees so high, and that's why this trunk almost travels over it. So what I want to do now is, and there is not much contrast happening here. So what I'll do is I will make this bunch of trees rather small and place them here so that they cast a shadow like this. And the mountain is, the first mountain is like this, the second mountain goes up like this, and then it goes beyond behind this tree, so that tree will be something like this. It's not, we don't see the place where the tree is grounded. So it's just an indication for me to paint based on this, and this will be the darkest area in the painting, so I'm not worried about this at all. I'll make sure that I leave some sky holes here. and maybe a bunch of trees here, something like this. That will decide later on as we progress. So today I will be using cobalt blue, burnt sienna, cabbage, white, and maybe and the red, crimson, mostly, and yellow ochre if needed. I am not sure yet. So let's start with the darkest shape. So the darkest shape would be the tree. So for that, this cobalt blue plus burnt sienna, it will make a dark green, some yellow, and I want to have this color dark, but not, it's not complete silhouette. Okay, so let's paint this. And first few layers just create the base on which the remaining painting is built. So can be pretty loose about how you paint. So keep it at this. Now let's paint this tree, which is which has a similar green but slightly more yellowish. So let's paint this. It will have a highlight on this side, and on the other side will be darker. Burnt sienna to make it dark, be darker here. And let's use the same color here also. And I will not paint this right now, but yes, I can modify this same green for the mountain also by adding more blue to it. So let's add more blue and add more white. So this white is dry, I did not make it wet. So, and let's see how this looks, or I need more lighter color. I think this looks good. And make it slightly more bluish towards the base. And this also makes sure that it's not one color which is applied all over. Want to create some interesting shapes here, so it's not just one color which is there. And be even darker towards the base here. Now I want a color for this, and it'll be similar, but it'll be much more lighter. Yeah. And I want to make it lighter towards the top and then darker towards the base. And more bluish towards the base. And this looks too smooth or too meticulous, so I'll just make it go up and down so that it looks more natural. But I don't want this to exactly mimic this shape, so I'll keep it. I'll make this. It's actually not a good idea to make two lines which are very parallel to each other in the natural shapes. So I'm trying to do something which will make this less of a mirror image of this, or less of a copy of this. Okay. Now I need a color for the sky. Paint that with pure blue and white. Not a white. This has some green in it, but hopefully it won't matter so much. I will have to make it lighter. I'll do that later in the later stage. Now let's paint the ground. And for the ground, I need again a color similar to this but much warmer and lighter, because it receives much more light than the sloping angle of the mountain. Let's see this. So this is the grass on the side of this road, and similar here. I just add a bit of burnt sienna, and the shadow anyway will come here, which will make it look different. And now let me paint the road. The road will be painted with burnt sienna and white. Taru is saying good afternoon. Yes, hi Taru. Good afternoon, Medha. Is it watercolor? Yes, I paint. I'm painting with watercolor, but I'm using opaque white, which makes it more like gouache. And I like this way of painting because it gives me much more freedom to create the effects which I like. And let me. So I won't say this is. So it's actually watercolor because the medium is water, but I'm just using it in a different way. Nothing, nothing more different than that. Okay. Now that's too nice a road. Now there has to be a shadow on it. So again, I'll modify this same color. You can see I'm continuously modifying this pool. Only thing, this was a completely different color for the sky, so I did not modify this. But if you are starting out painting, or if you are not uh, familiar with how to mix colors, then it would be nice if you, it will be easier for you to mix different colors in different wells like this and then use it. But because I've been painting for so long, I can go on modifying colors without having to mix them in different wells, so to say. I will have to make this darker later on because right now this color of the road is very wet. Now, so that completes the second stage of the painting, which is the block-in. So every shape in this painting is having some color. Adjusting the camera a bit. But now it's the time to start adding the details, which will make the painting much more nicer to look at. And we are yet to paint the tree trunk. But let me start with this. I'll make it slightly brighter. So I think I need more of white color so that it's easier for me to mix it instead of brushing this, because this color becomes hard once it dries. So you have to rub your brush on it and then takes time to paint. So some of this color goes in the sky color, and let me paint it with this now. And I'll just rub my finger over this so that there is gradation. Yeah, that's enough for me. And this edge also has to be soft because of the distance. Okay, now let's come to the dark shapes. So let me again modify this. I'll use a smaller brush because I need more control over it. And I'll also add a highlight on this side where the light is hitting the tree and which is causing the shadow basically. And I don't want to overdo this right now because the moment I add the tree trunk, it's anyway going to be adding more contrast. If you have any question, uh, Madhuchanda Kale is asking, is that a canvas sheet? No, it's a 140 GSM paper which is bound by the wires. So it's a sketchbook basically. It's nothing very fancy, and I'm using watercolor as gouache. So this also will have some highlights where the light is hitting this tree or bush or whatever that is. And you can see that there is very little value difference between these two, and that's actually, I don't know if I need to increase that or not. Let's see, let's increase a bit and then let's see how it looks. I'm adding more darks and let's see. Yeah, that looks nice now. Now let's add a bunch of trees here towards the base, but I want to make it, and these trees, these bushes will not receive direct sunlight, so they'll be mostly in shadow. So I'm not even painting them with a lot of color variation. I'm just adding a dark shape which will read as a bunch of trees, and I want to reduce the width of this tree here, this road here. Whatever. Yeah, So that's basically the bunch of trees there. And I will add a few dark patches in there on this side, so it's not completely mono one tone, but the variation between the various tones will be less. And I need to make this. And I think you are getting a reflection here because of the light. Yeah, it is actually like this. So it's you're getting. Let me close the window here. I think it has improved a bit, if not much. I don't know where that reflection is coming from. Should so the actual painting is like this. Let me see if I can move the light and if it makes any difference. Yeah, I think this has reduced it at least a bit, but let's keep painting. So now it's time to add the foreground details. So again, I need a dark color, but it has to be a green. So I'm mixing blue and yellow and brown, and let's see how this looks. This is exactly the same value which I had painted earlier, but because now we have two layers, one upon the other, this will be much more opaque. And I don't want to paint every square centimeter of this shape. I just want to make sure that we get enough of variation in the foliage colors. And I'm intentionally painting with a smaller brush. If I paint it with a large brush, then there's a danger that I might cover a lot more area than what needs to be covered. So I'm consciously painting with a smaller brush. And I think we are getting closer to the area or closer to the time when we need to paint the tree trunk. The tree trunk has to be more of a warm color, so it'll be more of brown and less of blue. Blue only to make the brown dark. And let's see how this looks. Should be okay, I guess. So let me start drawing it, painting it rather. I don't see any pencil marks which I had made earlier. So now whatever branches I'm painting, they are completely new. There is no drawing left to refer to. And Let's add one more branch here, which has some leaves on it. And I need to make the shadow dark here. And the shadow will be much more warmer because it's falling on the road here. So more brown. It'll get lighter and lighter. No, that's not looking like a shadow. I'm just adding some texture on this grass just to make sure this is dry before I add details to it or paint it again. Let me paint it with a larger brush. Yeah, this would be okay. So here it is green, and as I come into the road area, I'll paint it more brown. And I will add or punch a few holes in the shadow. I think that's looking not so bad. Adding one more layer of color on this, because this has to look completely opaque. It's actually reflection which is causing the issue. Yeah, now you can see it's not as transparent as it seems here in the video. Now let's add some fine tuning. And some of this also will be dark. I think that's enough of a suggestion to uh, create an illusion of a road winding like this at the foothill of or at the foot of this hill, not the foothill. And yeah, seems okay. Only thing is, I want to see if I can add, or I need to add anything here. Maybe a few more leaves on this tree, and few leaves standing or like this because of the contrast. And now you can see that why this I did not make it so light at that time. Now I can see how much I need to make it light. Yeah, I think that looks good. And the more you look at the painting, the more you start seeing issues with it. So sometimes you just have to stop. And I'm doing all this while the paint is still wet, so it's bound to have something. If I were to paint this as a piece for exhibition, then I would wait between the layers so that I get completely dry layer before I paint on top of it. But that's not this. So let's add the boundary once again. And if you have liked this video, do give it a thumbs up, add a comment, and if you are watching this and not subscribed to my channel, please hit that red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get notified. And if you are watching this on Facebook, follow my page so that you get informed whenever I am doing something new. So, and also paint this yourself. Otherwise, there's no value addition which you're getting. I hope this gives you enough inspiration to take out your colors and start painting. And if you have any questions, do keep them posting. Lakshmi Prince is saying yes. Thanks, Lakshmi. She's saying, "Wow, this looks good, awesome." That's the comment. Thank you, Lakshmi. So I guess we are good to stop here. And unless you have any questions, you can ask me now. Or if you are watching this as a replay for those who will be watching this after the live is over, even if you have questions, then please put them in the comment section. I will be happy to reply to those. And do subscribe to my channel and also sign up for the free course, which will make sure that you get on my list. Let me push this up so that you get to see this against the table. Yeah, that's marathiartstudio.com/free course so that you can get notification emails from me and also be ready with the value sketch which will help you paint much better paintings. So That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed certainly painting this, and thanks for all the comments and appreciation. So, thank you and see you tomorrow. Happy painting.